Oh man, I really love that song from Final Fantasy IX. I wish the city of Final Fantasy didn't screw it up as much. Hey guys, this is the Chronology here, welcoming you to another podfic. It's been a very long time since I've done these things. I've been busy with countdowns lately, and I actually made 2 new Tumblr blogs. I've been busy with those. Life is always getting in the way. There's anxiety, the summer heat, which I hate, and of course the usual editing on the fanfiction wiki. So there was a lot going on. It took me a long time to do this fic too, which is actually the latest in my Mortal Kombat chronology, if you don't count Caro's baby journal. And it takes place after the side stories of Mortal Kombat, which they aren't complete. Hopefully I'll get to those, but don't count on it. They're just filler. Hopefully I'll get to that. But this is the fic Lao and Aiko. This was just the working title. And basically this is like the evolution of Aiko and Kung Lao's relationship. So, they're actually engaged ever since Armageddon. Well, ever since after Armageddon. And there's a few flash-forward scenes here and there which would evolve their relationship even further. But as of now, the chronology is set in 1998, compared to 1992 where it started. So, here goes nothing. Alright, Lao and Aiko. I'm not waiting for this much longer. It has been too long since Aiko and Kung Lao have been dating and been engaged. They've been together for 6 years and hadn't tied the knot yet. I only have one couple that did just that, and it was from F-Zero, with Rick Wheeler and my OC Tinsel. Only this time, it's a solo project. and Barry Watterson evolved into a flying monkey. So, yeah, this is Solo here. Alright, the prologue. New Year's Eve, 1997. The sheer chilly, wintry air blew onto the Shaolin couple, Kung Lao and Aiko Crackle, though not enough to go through their warm bodies, being closely snuggled together. They were wandering out of the White Lotus Society base, arm in arm, and the comfortable aura temporarily broke. Kung Lao, look, I've been thinking about us. He faced her with warm concern. Yeah? Yeah. I'm concerned, thinking about your ancestor, how we lost Jen, and only being boyfriend and girlfriend until their souls were separated, with her being in the afterlife, Lao having the soul imprisoned for 500 years by Shang after losing to Goro, and they never had the chance to tie the knot, nor be engaged, which is actually a callback to Mortal Kombat Conquest. I wish they would finish that someday. CGI and whatnot. Yes, I know. I was thinking if maybe, in order to become their true soulmates, we've been dating for about 4 years, and we've been through so much, even exceeding what the great Kung Lao has been through. I was hoping if something should happen to us, I hope either Fusion or Lord Liu Kang would own our souls. But you want us to be wed first so that if one should perish, their soul would remain with their lover until the time comes. So we could ascend together. Right. Yeah, that's it exactly. You wonder how I know so much? Oh yeah, why? Aiko can't help but grin since she really thought Aiko's wittiness was charming as he tried to be funny. His hat seems as sharp and quick as the fighting style. Well, they always compare him to Jackie Chan. I like him when he's witty and funny in MKX. Even his voice. Sorry for the interruption, guys. I ran out of time. Alright, where were we? He became earnest, Kung Lao. Because I see it into you too. I mean that. Ever since our heart melt, you're the best friends I've ever had. Anything I say you completely understand. And I cherish you just the way you are, in and out. Just as you always support me. And I do want to go alone. And I do want to go above and beyond than from my ancestor and Jen. Lao's mind wandered to the stories told by the Shaolin. Aiko touched and caressed his face. I know. Me too. I know you and I want to remain by our sides, even after death. To be true soulmates. And it can only be possible if we were to wed. He rubbed her hand before she noticed him lowering himself. She looked down and barely saw Lao kneeling among the opaqueness and the dim light of the moon reflecting from the light frost. Aiko became frozen as if she was encased in ice by a talented Lin Kuei warrior. He took out something shiny and tiny. Then he looked up with eyes as glossy as this object. His voice was caught in his throat as he queried, "Will you marry me?" Aiko's eyes became as large as saucers. She could have sworn her heart palpitated and her hands were sweating despite the slightly bitter cold. Her face beamed. Her mouth was almost as wide as a dragon's maw. She dropped to her knees, and it was no hallucination. It was real despite feeling like a dream. "Yes, Kung Lao." Oh. His grin grew as he slipped the sparkling diamond ring onto her thin ring finger. His contact as warm and welcoming as an open fire beneath a hearth. They looked into each other's eyes before they dove into their snug embrace. Moments before the new year was struck, both Lao and Aiko shone off the diamond ring to the Shaolin, and soon to their family as well. Their future has become more secure than ever. Well, so far. I felt curious about Kung Lao's and Aiko's souls ever since I saw the truth MK9 Raiden was never a hero by Heavenly Gamer, which was the first video I saw of him. I've been a fan of him ever since, despite the AI, like Awesome Cage. When Raiden made a retarded decision as he wanted assistance from the Netherrealm, particularly Quan Chi, as he pledged for his own soul for the Oni to own, despite him possessing the dead warriors. If it was me, God forbid if something happens, I don't want my soul to be owned by anyone, not until if my parents should pass. I hope it's possible. After all, we're only getting older, so we need to be prepared. Forgive me for spoilers, but after Armageddon, it was seen that Kung Lao gave Aiko a diamond ring at the Late High grounds of the Wuxi Arena, where Jin and Kai arrived, so it's going full circle. Besides, Aiko and Lao were dating for about 4 years, and in the present time engaged for 2, so it's about time their relationship shall move forward. I was even a little miffed when Lu and Aiko's relationship flourished, and not her and Lao's, since there were complicated ideas and I didn't have the heart for it. Plus, unlike the Rick and Tinsel wedding, it's a solo project. It's tough, especially when you have your friend betray you and side with enemies. Also, on December 30th, 2024, H&I pulled Mortal Kombat Conquest from their lineup, despite premiering on June 30th, 2024, which, by the way, I did a little homework. So that can be a factor resolving around New Year's before the Twilight Zone marathons, which they did that year, and Lao has kept exceeding his ancestor. I know it's been a couple of years, but since it's been over a year, as of this writing, it got me a bit anxious here. If only neglectful Netflix, NRS, and Woke Bros, well, Paramount now, would continue their abandoned works, i.e. with CGI or whatever else without overexertion. This is only the prologue, but I still got a very long way. I'm not going to stop here just yet. It was too short, but after this writing, I saw an AI video tribute to the great Kung Lao, how he fought Goro and whatnot. But yeah, I was very disappointed. I didn't see much of Conquest at that time, unfortunately. And I only saw like 3 episodes of Conquest. But I knew it was going to be a problem because it was so damn short. And as of now, Paramount, it was going to merge with Warner Brothers, but it stopped. You know, the federal judge, they put like a halt on it. So, I hope it would still proceed. Like Paramount, it does a better job with movies, you know, with Star Trek, Sonic. I hate SpongeBob, that doesn't count, but I hope the merger will go through instead of Netflix. It's so damn woke. And it's got a lot of controversy, and I'm not into streaming services, so God knows. But I'm rooting for Paramount to go through with this. I really hope they do change Mortal Kombat for the better. Alright, Continuation 1. January 1999. It's been 2 years since you both became engaged, Fusion affirmed within the Sky Temple. And it's true that in order to become confirmed soulmates, you must first tie the knot and make your bond complete. Yes, Lord Fusion. I appreciate the offer on Lord Liu Kang and I keeping you and Aiko's souls when one of you will perish. So, it must be done. And it has been done in the past, since my brother saved the mortal Liu Kang's soul in his dragon amulet before it was taken by Shang Tsung, which is a callback to Mortal Kombat Vengeance. And it decided to stay amongst the living until he was vindicated, until Onaga complicated matters. A tie-in to Return of the Dragon King. And he was lost in thought, reminiscing on the grave losses of Raiden and the Chosen One, the champion, all the intense trials they went through. Call back to Final Combat. Ashura broke the silence. When had you decided to be unified, Kung Lao? Aiko? February 14th, the Western world's celebration of Valentine's Day. Excellent! This should ease some tension amongst the Chinese and their traditions, as they appall unions taking place on the 7th day and 7th month of the lunar calendar. They consider that as bad luck. It took me a little research. But, yeah. Shoot. Damn scrolls. But it took me a little research in August. It was in August. Plus, this makes it easier for us, as it is a fortnight after my birthday and one day after Kung Lao's, which I saw in the Super Fighters Wiki. It's February 13th. Indeed. And at what time shall it be? She glanced at Lao for a moment. The U.S. West Coast. How many hours is it from us? About 13 hours, with China being ahead. We used to orchestrate a concert utilizing your coherence, remember? Tie into coherence. Yeah. Ashura and Lao confirmed the same, with the latter having a vacant expression recalling how deeply hypnotized he was with the Matokan's heat dance, which actually happened with the Matoka. So, I suggest you should have the wedding take place in the evening hours. That way the special forces shall be prepared. I'd also consider it within 8 or 9 p.m. Prime time shall be perfect for big events, not just TV. And that shall give Sonya, Jax, and Johnny some time to prepare for the ceremony. It's surely going to be quite the jet lag. As the future newlyweds discussed who should be invited, they jotted down their friends, as well as notes concerning their predicaments. Would you be willing to lead the ceremony as a Revenant Fusion? As Earthrealm's primary defender, it shall be my honor, little one, he affirmed with a formal bow. Aiko was concerned on what time the ceremony and reception should be, as people in the Western world would be preoccupied with their couples during their own romantic customs on the 14th. Courtesy of Fusion's F-Zero funnel, they visited the Blade Mansion in Los Angeles. I knew you two would tie the knot eventually. No fair, Sonya did it first, as did Jax. Again, tie into MK Vengeance. And I'm sure we can manage Valentine's after that. Johnny smirked at her with tongue-in-cheek, but she ignored it. Just in time to be in the mood. Gosh! So, what about the babies, Cassie and Jackie? We think they'd be better off with Vera. I think they're too young as toddlers. The overcrowding and simulation may just be too much. She's got a point there. So the infant shall stay with Vera and her farm for the time being. And I think Cyrax shall accompany them with the special forces. We don't take any chances. She remembered the sneak attacks Su Hao made on their doomed base, even the Dragonfly in Outworld. Then it shall be decided around the late afternoon, Chinese Standard Time, 16 hours ahead of California's own time zone. So it shall be on 8 p.m. if done the math, while the Shaolin prepares at noon. It was also good for Japan since it was only an hour apart. So Hanzo, Kenshi, and Takeda would be ready for 7 p.m. Great! But can I also invite a professional photographer with your permission? Johnny's face dropped. Sure, alright. As long as we won't be swarmed with celebrity. I'll make sure it's private. Maybe Mocap can be of some good use. I was never sure how to use him. I never liked him all that much. I know it's a tribute, but still. I'm sorry we didn't invite you two for our weddings and baby showers. We requested them to be small, private events. Lao was relieved and understood, as did his companion, and the prepared general stated she'd contact Kenshi, Takahashi, and Hanzo via communicator to Japan. A shrill cry was nearby. Move it, Lao and Aiko. Official business. She left for Cassie's care as the pairing thanked for their cooperation. And I made some notes here. Aiko needed to readjust her overwhelmed mind as they returned to the Kung cottage as they vigorously wrote down more notes. The bridesmaids and the ushers, which you could pause here if you want. But that's all I got. I know it's small, aside from the Shaolin. Her mind stopped for a few moments as she heard scuffles and noticed Little Guy and Jen playing with each other. How are we going to find a pet sitter for these two? Perhaps Kiba shall hold the fort while our family and Nightwolf will be with us. I guess so. She then put away the business cards, including one that had her wedding vows. Link said we must choose our own mates and men of honor. I'll choose Liu Kang since he's been my Shaolin brother since the day we met, as we were both enrolled at the Wuxi Academy. Nice! I'd love to see Lord Liu Kang again. I guess Kung Ling would be the maid of honor? Yes, but she's closer to my bloodline. You must choose another. Oh, crap. Yes. Oh. Link said that according to custom, she can't be shared, and must either be a close friend or a relative. Aiko was in deep thought as if her mind phased away. Her face dropped. This was going to be more difficult than she realized. Then Nightwolf will be my chosen as man of honor, especially since we have a distant bloodline with the Matoka. I wonder if some of them would make it. Silence engulfed her mind. Kitana! After she heard... Oh.
Kitana.
After she heard Lu's voice in her mind, she declared her as her glazing eyes lit up. Yes! Kitana! This will be perfect since she has a strong bond with Liu Kang. You're equal. A perfect match. She stimmed a little. I am honored, brother and sister. Lord Liu Kang responded with a smile and bow. They couldn't wait to discuss the matter of the Kang Cave. Yes, I'm also humbled. I'll accompany you as the maid of honor. Although, I believe Caro can come. However, for a short while, since he needs to watch over the hourglass and the denizens. The outside realm isn't quite ready to accept a real dragon. Of course! Caro affirmed with a low bow. Congratulations, Aiko and Kung Lao. And what of the baby, Jiang? He shall remain here on the island, while he will observe via the hourglass. I'd heard Cassandra and Jackie won't be eligible. They're still very young, and the capybara puppies would be great company. Perhaps I shall carry the amulet if things will go awry. Kronika's possession. And I will hold the crown. We will be safe. However, you must discuss customs with the Order of Light. It isn't like those in Edenia. He reminisced his ceremony at the start of the so-called New Era, which isn't Dominic's failed experiment. You can look at the one-shot contentment. I quit the Order of Light and joined the White Lotus full-time. I'll escort you to it, Aiko. I'll escort you to it, Aiko. I've reinstated with the monks, ever since the aftermath of Armageddon. Then go. We shall await your invitations. The Order of Light weren't so uncomfortable seeing Aiko again, much to her relief. Lu's grandfather and Kai were also delighted to meet the couple. Be invited as ushers, and the former already picked out who would assist arranging the exotic, unfamiliar Mandarin customs. He was smack dab within the temple, and the Shaolin gossip was inescapable. Ugh, it is indeed. Aiko wondered if her name shall be Kung Aiko, similar to her family. Ling chimed in that she didn't have to share the same name if she didn't want to, contrary to American traditions in which they were often male-dominant. The cardiokinetic still volunteered sharing the prestigious name, and she didn't want to stay with the same name Crackle anyway. She even expressed discomfort as the surname was a lousy one chosen by her distant European ancestry, symbolizing the miniature candy bar or the signature sounds of Rice Krispies. Lao beamed with pride, sharing his name passed down for more than 500 years. After the monk presided, the couple decided to go with the Cantonese traditions of the wedding. During the wedding rituals, Cantonese brides donned on a kangwa, a highly embroidered red silk dress, which consisted of a petticoat adorned with the images of a dragon and a phoenix, provided with a long skirt. A hair-combing ceremony must be performed. In addition, the groom was expected to give a pair of matching dragon and phoenix bracelets, which were most commonly made of gold, to the bride, and are to be worn during the wedding festivities. Aiko was intrigued as the monks shone them, overriding the distaste for jewelry as they glistened among the massive candlelight. The dragon and phoenix motif symbolized a blissful union as described by the Chinese phrase, I can't pronounce that, the union of the dragon and phoenix. He also described on the third day following the wedding, the newlywed bride's first return visit to her family home after marriage was called whatever. Went on saying a whole roasted pig was presented to the bride's family, who could customarily keep the pig's body and return the pig's head and legs, along with other gifts. Traditionally, a perfect roast pig was offered as a sign of the bride's virginity. Aiko cringed at the thought. She was about to show disgust until she bit her tongue, not wanting to disrespect the newer traditions. She felt as if they were from a different planet rather than country. Don't worry, it'll already be cooked for us. However, the monk's face tends to be due to complications. Some of the 6 pre-wedding traditions had to be sacrificed, in which Ling didn't mind. Only the formal proposal, which was done back on New Year's of 96. Actually, it should be 97, I think. The sending of betrothal gifts which will be done the month before the wedding instead of 3 months, while the selection of wedding date and ceremony remained. It wasn't easy for the Shaolin monk to pick a time of birth, since the couple's parents were pretty much non-existent, such as Lao's elders who passed during the Chinese Mob Wars. Again, from Super Fighters Wiki, which closed down. And Aiko came from 16 years into the future, with your younger self's family withstanding, although their dates seemed compatible enough, as it was set the day after Lao's birthday and a fortnight after Aiko's. The zodiac signs of a rabbit with a dragon were also probable, and it'd be the year of the Earth Rabbit in 2 days from their wedding. Kung Lao even pulled his white rabbit little guy out of his hat to symbolize their compatibility more. The Buddhist was also relieved it wasn't during the Hungry Ghost Festival, nor during the 7th month of the lunar calendar. She muttered she never liked the summer heat, which I don't. One on the betrothal must follow the groom's ancestral tradition only, not the other way around. Aiko was adventurous, so the bride would receive envelopes of bride price, whereas the bride's side returned gifts and bride price to the groom. Lao confirmed to divide it amongst them in half. For Aiko's birthday, within 11 days, it was agreed to insert the new couple's bed, complete with red sheets, a slightly whiter frame, and a plate of dried longans, coda seeds, red dates, persimmons, sprig of pomegranate leaves, together with 2 red packets placed on the bed. A pair of bedside lamps shall be lit to symbolize the addition of sons to the family. In fact, Ling chimed in that her bedpost would be switched, and Aiko and Lao's as hers was a queen bed that she once shared with her divorced husband. I hope I still have time. The monk then described a hair-combing ceremony conducted on the eve of the wedding after showering with water infused with pomelo or pomegranate leaves, which he retracted and requested for fusion to fuse it with the jinsei, and the bride and groom would change into a new set of clothing and shoes. Attending female members blessed them aloud, as visible moon or in front of the mirror if there'd be rain. The 4 blessings were, with the first combing, be blessed to be together to the end. The second combing be blessed with 100 years of harmony in marriage. The third combing be blessed with a house full of children and grandchildren, which Aiko rolled her eyes at. And the fourth would be blessed with longevity, which was easy for the rabbit. A sweet dessert soup containing pink glutinous rice, spherical dumplings shall be served after the hair-combing ceremony to wish the couple a complete and sweet marriage. It was a lot for the trio to take in, but thankfully the monk was kind enough to give the preparation notes in both English and Mandarin. Forgive me if the chapter's boring, but preps had to be made for Lao and Aiko's wedding. The switching of the bedpost was a random, more convenient idea with Ling's, since she's a small single parent to Jin. I also had to do some exhausting research on Chinese wedding customs, and many were so complicated, such as getting a fortune teller or finding out what time the birth was. Not even the Japanese and American customs were so excruciatingly difficult when I did to be married and loved. Also, this story's sort of a coping mechanism, since my personal narcissist has Fox and Misty being wed with her usual unfinished works, and crazy lazy Clement had one before Christmas with Caro. I'll usually consider them as Scourge the Hedgehog and Fiona Fox. Pun intended. At least my dad was married to my new Philippines mom, who soon became a permanent legal citizen, so that's a thing. Best to take in your personal victories, I guess. I hope the fic won't keep getting dull since the customs are out of the way. I've had 2 weddings I've experienced. One was in August 2003 when my dad tied the knot with my abusive stepmom. Her name was hyphenated as a result, and I never liked the idea on sharing mine and Dad's surname, as she was a stark contrast to my late mom as well as my current one, completely unsupportive, involving my mental disorders, including showitis and hyperfixation, by suppressing my hobbies and no outlets. There was a divorce on the first day of fall in 2019, which caused many irreplaceable things. My current mom from the Philippines was married in March 2024, and she accepts my setbacks, despite both weddings kinda being rushed, with the former as formal but taking place in my former house's backyard and even raining on it. Ironically, the first wedding was in Lucky Leo's at Las Vegas during the corruption of the Italian mafia, counting some of the casino events. It was in 1980! If they would have stayed longer, I probably never would have been born! Ugh, I hate that movie. I wish it never existed. Also, as of this date creating this continuation, I found out yesterday that Matthew's wife and voice acting partners passed away after a 5-year cancer battle. Rest in peace. They have 3 children too, so all I can do is hope for the best, and if possible, make a donation to help them. I won't expect him to be in any future MK projects for maybe several months to a year, but he has my condolences. He was the best actor for Liu Kang, especially Lord Liu Kang in Fusion, not counting MK 2023, since it's AI infested and Dominic's failed experiment. Hopefully, I'll work on another chapter soon as of this podfic. So, sorry for the long chapter, but there was a lot to go over. So, until the next chapter, this is the Ecron Writer signing out. Ciao, everybody.